I do, and welcome to part 7 of Paul and Lynn's Wild Garlic Ride. Now here we are, we're just leaving Devil's Bridge in Kirkby Lonsdale, which is in North Yorkshire. Bit of a funny boundary here. We're in North Yorkshire at the moment, but just up this hill we enter Lancashire, and a little bit further along on this road, the A65, we go back into North Yorkshire. So it's a bit of a funny boundary. So as I say, we just left Devil's Bridge. Hope you enjoyed the Capcam walkabout. Been going to Devil's Bridge now really since probably 1983. I think probably the first time that I went there, and it's great for a stop off on the way to the Lake District, or on the way back, as we are, and get yourself a bacon butty or anything else it takes your fancy. So it's a good road, is this, the A65. Quite a main road, but it's still got, you know, some nice scenery. The police are out in force on Sundays, of course, with the bikers, and some that just can't resist riding beyond the 60-mile-an-hour speed limit. And you know, I'm the first to admit that yes, I do go over on occasions. However, some of them that ride just like maniacs and spook car drivers, well, you know, many times people have said to me, oh, you know, they do frighten me, these bikers, you know. So, well, the best advice I can give you is let them get past. They will get past you, you know. Doesn't matter what you do. If there's an overtaking opportunity, a biker will take it, because he's got a lot more acceleration than you have in your car. So just relax. But of course, some people just can't relax and just, oh, you know, they shouldn't be allowed that road and blah blah blah. Because many times you overtake a vehicle, say there's a car doing, you know, say 50 on here, and I go to overtake him, because say you're allowed 60. Well, you know, there's a car coming in the other direction, and you'll see that in as an example on this road, and there's absolutely plenty of time to perform the overtake and get back onto my side of the road. But on occasions you get the car driver coming towards you, flashing his or her headlights at you, because they think that you've been a bit of a maniac, you know, a bit taking risks. Well, as I said, just alluded to, a motorcycle has far more acceleration than a car, and anybody who hasn't ridden a motorcycle doesn't really understand that. A bike is, you know, like the FJR. It's obviously a lot lighter than the average car, and you've got a 1300cc engine there, 4-cylinder, which has got an immense amount of horsepower. Can't just think of the figure just offhand, but it's got some power, and even 2 up, you've got some awesome power at your disposal. So provided you're not, you know, doing 70, 80, 90 when you're passing, if you're doing 65, where you are, we're back into North Yorkshire now, if you're doing 65, 70, well then, you know, perhaps you are pushing it a little bit. As long as you drop back down to 60 once you've made the overtake. Because again, you know, when you get on a road like this, which has got quite a few bends or curves, excuse me, You know, a car can't drive around these bends like a bike can. So even though you're not going massively faster than a car, you know, you will cover some distance more, you know, quicker than a car. So anyway, we're almost at the end of our ride. This particular section takes us to Long Preston, which is along this road, the A65, and then we pick up on the part 8, the bit between Long Preston and Gisborne, which takes you along the A682, which is a great road, follows the River Ribble and into the Ribble Valley, and then of course the section from Gisborne to home, and that'll be it. That'll be the last part. So hope you're enjoying it as much as we're enjoying riding it, and please comment and let us know what kind of bikes you've had. You know, if let's have some comments about what made you start motorcycling. For myself, I don't know what it was really. It was 1980, and I'd just come back off a family holiday to the Isle of Man. I was 17. Now, whether it was something that I'd seen or heard in the Isle of Man that sort of pricked my ears and started to think about a motorcycle, I knew that I didn't want to drive a car. I've never been a fan of a car. The car is you know, it's a vehicle that gets you from A to B. When you've got a family, yes, essential, as we had for 14 years while we didn't have a bike. Here we are, we're in Ingleton now, River Greta. Gonna have to walk those falls soon. So yeah, as I said, I was 17, and in the July of that year, I just announced to my mum and dad that I wanted a motorcycle, much to the horror I might add to my mum. But I was adamant. I wanted 2 wheels because I didn't want a car. I was on very low pay, probably around about £32 a week in 1980, which was a crap wage, but that's what I were on. So, you know, my budget didn't stretch to a car anyway. That's why a lot these days, you know, they want a car and really they can't afford it. You know, you know, they might buy a car for, say, £600 second hand, an old car, but they're paying £2,000 for insurance a year. It's madness. So anyway, I got this Honda 50, and that was the start of it. It was a bit of a disaster, that bike. It hadn't been looked after. It was a 1971, so it was 9 years old then, and but it got me going, and I don't know how things happened, but I met this chap who'd been a mechanic. He'd had his own bike shop, and we became very, very good friends. Sadly, he's no longer with us, but I've lots of happy memories of Jim. Lots of stories. He could tell a story about his life. And so, you know, that bike was, you know, a bag of shit really. It introduced me to him. Now, had I got a nice bike or a reliable bike, I probably would never have met him. So, you know, everything is for a reason, isn't it? So there it started, and the following year, 1981, I passed my test. it was only a 1 point test then. You know, you could ride as long as you wanted on provisional license, but then I took my test and failed it first time, passed it the second, and then a few weeks later they introduced a 2 point test and made it a little bit harder, and it's really hard now. Whilst I agree to a degree with that policy, I think car drivers need to be more strict and more aware of bikes, as well as bikes being aware of cars and everything. So, you know, I think all motorists need to adopt a policy where they respect each other, especially young lads who jump into cars and blah blah blah. So there we are. So that was my start into motorcycling, possibly something I heard in the Isle of Man, or you know, whilst in the Isle of Man. I was 17, and well, I'm glad that I did, because you know what an experience it is riding a bike. Anybody who does it knows exactly what I'm talking about. People you meet, you just one big happy family, and this technology now with YouTube means that we can share it, you know, across the oceans. I mean, how good is that? It's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Right, music time. So sit back, enjoy the ride, and I shall see you on part 8 and the bit from Long Preston to Gisborne. Thanks for watching. As always, see you next time. Bye for now.